Ladies and gentlemen, it is now 6 o'clock. We will now begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to have you all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, that brings us to agenda item number 2, agenda approval. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Director Brody?
Yes.
Director Castro?
Yes.
Director Ingles?
Yes.
Director Hansen?
Yes.
Director Larkin?
Yes.
Director McGivern?
Yes.
Director Witter?
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Okay, that brings us to 3.1, under recognitions, commendations, informations, item number 1.
Yes, so this evening, Joe Rankin was selected as Iowa Speech and Debate Coach of the Year. Congratulations to the Bettendorf High School's Joe Rankin on being named Iowa Speech and Debate Coach of the Year. Coach Rankin was recognized in his incredible dedication to speech and debate across Iowa. From hosting outstanding tournaments and supporting middle school debate to constantly bringing Bettendorf students to compete across the state. So absolutely congratulations, Coach.
Oh, all right. Are any of your students with you as well?
Yep, they're all right.
Okay, could they stand up? I'm sorry, could you stand up, please, as well? Congratulations. Okay, that brings us to item number 3, Bettendorf High School Wrestling Team State Championship. I'm sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
Okay. Speaking of speech and debate, congratulations to our BHS students who competed in state, and especially to the following students. Katie Baltos, 5th place in informative speaking. Sorry, I can't read my. Ishika Matwana, 3rd place in program oral interpretation. Bree Seeley, 9th place, Student Congress. Katie Baltos, one of 5 nominated for State Senior of the Year Award. That's pretty cool. The following students from Bettendorf High School will be attending nationals for speech and debate. Connor Hetner, a junior, 2nd-time qualifier in expository. Ishika Matwana, a junior, 2nd-time qualifier in original oratory. Miley O'Malley, junior, 1st-time qualifier, Student Congress. Bree Seeley, sophomore, 2nd-time qualifier in storytelling. And Ellie Winkler, junior, 2nd-time qualifier, international extemporaneous speaking. The National Speech and Debate Association will be hosting their annual national tournament from June 14th to June 19th in Richmond, Virginia. So, good job.
Thank you. The Bettendorf High School Boys Wrestling Team takes 2nd at the state. Congratulations to the Bettendorf High School Boys Wrestling Team for finishing 2nd at the state. We also had 3 state champions in 2nd place. Jake Knight, state champion. Lincoln Jip, state champion. Braden Kester, state champion. Cody Trevino, 2nd. And Shannon Hughes, 7th. So congratulations. Are any of those coaches or champions or 7th placers in the audience tonight? Well, that's quite a deal, finishing 2nd at the state. Oh, tiny little Bettendorf, competing against all the giants. For Coach Knight and his team, that's quite an honor. And to be recognized with that honor and see their kids compete, see that his kids compete on television. Having coached against the Clinton kids and Coach Knight when he was wrestling, there was 4 Clinton boys, Jeff, Steve, Mike, and Knight. Jeff, Steve, Dan, and Mike Knight, and they would turn our happy days into dark nights. They were all, we hated them during the year, but we liked them, and we loved them afterwards, okay? So congratulations, Coach Knight, and all those high school champions in the 7th place for Bettendorf, in 2nd place as well. Moving on, Coach Knight.
Okay. Congratulations to Bettendorf Middle School students Caliana Bribriesco, who placed 6th grade at the AAU Girls State, and Riel Russell for placing 7th grade, in 7th grade for placing 5th, and 8th at the Iowa AAU Girls Wrestling State Tournament. Sorry, so Caliano was 6th grade, Riel was 7th grade, and they placed 5th and 8th at the Iowa AAU's Girls Wrestling state tournament over the weekend, and they were coached by BHS senior Nessa Salmani. And just an extra special shout out to, it's really exciting and always, when you talk about newer sports in as far as girls wrestling, I mean, I don't know that we've quite hit a handful of years in regards to official sanctions. So congratulations to all the girls that are out there that are working at this sport. And I also want to do a special shout out because from there at the school of Palm North, we had Briella Strelos actually placed 5th place, I believe, I'm sorry, let me take that back. 5th or 3rd, I have to look that up. But congratulations to all the girls, especially our Bettendorf Middle School girls. Thank you.
Dr. Ingles.
Congratulations to the Bettendorf High School Jazz 1 on their first place finish at the Indian Hills Jazz Festival. They will receive a wild card draw to the Iowa Jazz Championship for the second time in school history and the second time in 3 years. Amazing.
Director Larkin.
Congratulations to Olivia McCorkle for being named the MAC Player of the Year in girls basketball.
Director Wick.
Congrats to BHS boys bowling team for a successful season. The boys placed 3rd at state. Special shout out to Zach Rothus, who placed 5th at state.
Director Haynes.
Congratulations to both BHS robotics teams for qualifying for state. At the qualifying tournament, Bett took home some hardware for finishing as a finalist Alliance 2nd place in the tournament. Bett also took home a trophy for 3rd place Inspire Award. Bett finished 5th in the advanced criteria to state, and TopBot finished 12th out of 15 advancement slots. So congratulations to both teams. Well done.
I understand we have some of the robotics team members here tonight, so if they'd like to come forward and show us a quick presentation of this thing they have done.
So this is our robot that we constructed this year. So we're on this side, this is our intake. So these are the balls that we have this year. If you look at this board here, this is how the field is set out. So the balls are placed here, and our robot can come in, it grabs into here. We have a lever that lifts the balls into our outtake, which launches it into the blue and red zones, goals. And it's done pretty well for us. We got the first day at state we did really well. We placed 2nd, and the second day we didn't do so well, but we finished strong. We brought home 3rd place in there. Second place in there. Sorry.
One of the biggest parts of our season is starting off strong, and you can't do that wrong or can't do that right without having a clear goal in mind. I'm going to pass this around, but this is our portfolio that we show to all of our judges. So this is a bit more in depth of what we actually do during the season, but our goal walking into the season is we wanted to win the Inspire Award, which if you're not familiar with that, it is being exemplary in all of the other categories, which kind of boil down to how your game does, your community outreach, and just kind of your design process of the robot. So we got 3rd place Inspire at our league tournament, and we did quite well with the outreach or connecting with our community part at the state.
Throughout this season, we have grown tremendously in our ability to do things as well as our outreach. And we are hoping to maybe get a little bit of support from you guys next year to whether monetarily or just apply a new coach or even recognize us outside of the club.
New coach as in additional. Our program has grown quite a bit in the last couple of years. 3 years ago we started a new team, TopBot 24296, and all 3 years we've gone to state and we're doing well and we're getting more interest in this program, and so we might be able to open up or generate enough interest to qualify for the 13th.
last name?
Leo.
So we can show you again quickly how our robot works. And so once we've intake, they're called artifacts, with these rubber bands here on the front. We then speed up this flywheel here on the back. And then once we're ready to shoot our artifact, we can launch it like that. So that's just kind of how our robot works.
As him watching normally you hit the ceiling, so we shoot it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations, guys.
Congratulations. Just backtracking a little bit here, we announced about the BHS Jazz One earning first place in Indian Hills Jazz Festival. Do we have any of those jazz band people in the audience? All right, congratulations to you guys as well. Thank you. Okay, moving on next to the BHS bowling director.
She did that.
Oh, we did that, okay.
They are here.
Oh, they are here though, that's correct. Okay, Coach, and anyone else with you that you'd like to introduce to us, please? I do. Could you come to the podium?
So these are 4 of our 6 that went to state this year. We have Zach Rothus, he's one of our seniors. Justin Meyer, another senior. Cash Dormeyer, a senior. And JD Grothus, he's a freshman. This young man had an average of 235 in the regular season this year, which is 15 pins higher than anybody in the history of my 21 years of bowling. So Zach has taken over the #1 spot on the record board. JT is in the #2 spot now with 228 average, so that was pretty cool. We figured they'd be battling back and forth against each other all season, and they did, so that was kind of fun. We had a strong season this year. We were 10-2 overall. Last year we were in the MAC. We were 6-2. Last year we were 1-7. So we had quite a change from last year. State tournament, we ended up second in the qualifying, and we had 4 guys out of the 8 qualify for individuals, which is a record again for this year. And Zach qualified first in the qualifying part of the state tournament, but ended up 5th overall. It was great. It was a lot of fun. We thank Bill for your support.
Okay, moving on to number 9, Director McGivern, would you take that one, please?
Well, I just lost my agenda here, so I might pass that on there, and then I'll take the next
Sure.
one, number 10. Sorry.
Okay, Director Engels, number 9.
Congratulations to the Bettendorf High School for winning first third place in the annual QCEC and ASCE Battle of the Bridges High School Division. 16 teams from 4 high schools participated: Bettendorf, PV, Muscatine, and Sherrard. First place, would you want to build a bridge co? Second place, one last standing bridge. Third place, measured it once bridge co. Michael. First place were Will Hines, Jack Stacy, and Charlotte Smith. Second place, Jack Gerskis, Thomas Gillitzer. Third place, Michael Gonzalez Sturm, and David Curry. Thank you.
Are any of those students here in the audience? Oh, wow. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay. Okay, Director McGivern. Oh, all right, come on up, kids.
So, that's our bridge. 94 pounds and carried
188 pounds.
with an efficiency of 785%. Aside from being a giant triangle, there's a lot of science that kind of goes into this. So the strongest shape that, in the three-dimensional world is the equilateral triangle. So what we tried to do is the best we could create an equilateral triangle so that all of the force coming down on it at a single point is right here.
Yeah.
And the rest of the design is just to reinforce the shape of the bridge.
Yeah. And the way we went about making it, I guess, was, so in our engineering problems class, we had time to research designs, research these triangles, and figure out what the best type of bridge would be. And then we got to experiment a little bit, or make one in our class and test that out and see how that would go. And then after that, we made some iterations. So then at the contest, we were able to build a pretty good bridge.
It's encouraging to hear some engineering problems. I think that was probably one of my favorite classes, just because of the stuff you get to do, and the stuff you put your hands on, and the software you work with, I'm sure. So that's awesome.
I have a question. How was your bridge tested?
So,
How do you determine that weight, etc.?
So, I guess in the class ourselves, with our prototype, we had a balance that we measure in grams and then convert to pounds. And after that, we propped it up against or over 2 desks, and then we had a hook that we would go onto the bottom of the bridge and then apply weight onto the tray. And then that's how we tested our prototypes. And then we, after that broke and got destroyed, we went back to the drawing board and said, hey, this is where it failed, let's make that better.
All right. Very good.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the Bettendorf Community School District elementary students performing the Young Musicians Honor Band. Yeah,
So, 4 5th grade band students participated in the Young Musicians Honor Band in Cedar Rapids. The students spent the day practicing their music with others from around the state, learning new things and having fun. These students represented themselves and Bettendorf Community School District very well. We are incredibly proud of them. It's Vivian Perkins from Mark Twain, Rita Nanavati from Neil Armstrong, Agatha Villa from Hoover, and Natalie Medician, I apologize, I'm probably butchering those, from Grant Wood. So congratulations, you 4. Are they
Okay, number 11, Director Ingles.
All right, Mariana Martinez, a high school senior member of the State of Iowa Youth Advisory Council, recently job shadowed Iowa State Representative Heather Mattson at the Iowa Capitol, gaining first-hand insight into the legislative process and demonstrating her commitment to civil engagement. What a remarkable opportunity.
Is Mariana in the audience tonight? No. Okay, I think I'm going to go back to the top. We did honor Mr. Rankin in his speech and debate coach of the year, but his students are here. But would you students come up and like to say a little bit, speak a little bit to us at the microphone, please?
It was worded, it sounded like I should say seated, but I got up anyway, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thank you for, board commendations. The Coach of the Year award was really nice to have. It was kind of a surprise. There's a Des Moines coach who was leaving this year. He's going to Omaha. And so it was kind of nice to, get that award and to be recognized, because the award was, the way that award is awarded is a coach from other schools has to nominate you, or students have to nominate you, and then the coaches themselves from the institution get the vote. And they get 1 vote and only 1 vote. It's not preferential, it's just 1 silver bullet kind of thing. It's the second time I've won that award. 2019 was the first time, 2026 the second now. And I'm one of 3 coaches who've won that twice. I don't think there's been a third, so now we're in a race to see who gets the third. I don't think they can get rid of it once you get 3. I don't think you have to take anything home or anything. But it's quite the honor though, and it's great to have this. We just started the middle school program, as mentioned. We just restarted that this year for the first time in 9 years, and we had about 35 kids in the comments to do that, so we're hoping that that is a good sign. And we're also kind of opening that up to anybody in the Quad Cities or beyond, because we don't really care where you're from, we just want to get more people involved in the activity. And so we'll see if that has some traction, and if it doesn't, that's okay. My wife says I do too much anyway. And if it does, well, then it'll only benefit our program in the long term because more people is better. So, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Would any of you students like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'll say, thank you guys for the sorry. Okay.
And what's your name, please?
I'm Ellie Winkler. I'm a junior. This is my second time qualifying for nationals. I just want to thank you all for the commendation and say how important speech and debate is to us and like as a community. The community around speech and debate is so many hard workers, so many huge voices who just really want to spread the word, create engagement, which is super important to the community, especially at this time. So I just want to again thank you and then say we're super excited for nationals. We're super glad to have Rankin. He's done so much for us. So super excited that we got the coach of the year as well.
My name is Ishiguro Tawny. I'm a junior. It's also my second time qualifying to nationals. I kind of like to add to what Ellie said. We are super grateful, first of all, for Rankin. I mean, there's a reason he won the best coach of the year because he really is. And just speech and debate is such an important activity, as she said. We're super grateful for all of your guys' support because I know me and all of our teammates, we all really enjoy this activity. I mean, going to the tournaments or even practice is such a fun time to be able to, express ourselves and also just build on our abilities to speak and, get our word out there. So it's a very important activity and it's really taught me a lot and I know them too. So yeah, I'm super excited for nationals. Thank you guys for all of your support as well.
My name is Connor Hetner. I'm a junior and I'll also be going to nationals for a second time this year. And I also want to thank Rankin very much for his work and dedication that he puts into speech and debate, not only at the high school but at the middle school now as well. And I also want to stress, like Ishika, the importance of speech and debate, especially education in speech and debate, which is why I'll be introducing a resolution that will recognize National Speech and Debate Education Day, which I'll speak later on. And I believe it's just really important to have speech and debate knowledge because it helps in a lot of careers and helps a lot of students, including myself, because I always like to say, even if I don't win any awards, I don't get to go to any fancy national tournament, one thing that I learned from speech and debate is that I get to have this valuable experience and valuable skills that I can use in my career in the future. And that's the most important thing for me about speech and debate. So I thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rankin, I said this to you before when you came up to us, I think when you won the award previously, that the speech and debate that you work on with these kids gives them so much confidence to get up in front of a group and speak, be able to defend what they say, have confidence in what they say, because they say that's one of the hardest things for people to do is get up in front of a group and speak intelligently, etc. And I think your speech and debate kids, just by what they said, have demonstrated that. And I think in the future, as they move on in their careers, they'll teach them to be leaders and not be led. And I think that's one of the things that you teach these kids. Be the leaders and don't follow anybody. You be the leaders, but don't be led. So thank you very much, kids. Thanks a lot, Mr. Rankin. Congratulations. Okay, moving down to number 12, Student Board Representatives Report. Do we have a student representative here with us tonight? Okay, seeing none, moving down to number 13, President's Statement. If anyone in the audience would like to approach the microphone and speak to us, you have 3 minutes. We don't discuss personnel, etc. Have your thoughts well organized, stay on task, and you may approach the microphone at this time.
Good evening. Here. Good evening, President Castro and members of the board. Public speaking is one of the most common fears people have. And according to surveys often cited by organizations like the National Institute of Health and public speaking research groups, Around 70 to 75% of people experience anxiety about public speaking. And for many people, speaking in front of others like I'm doing now is more stressful than even exams, job interviews, or heights. So the problem is not just fear. The problem is that most students are never taught how to overcome this fear. Many students often go through their entire education with little formal training in communication. Research from National Association of Colleges and Employers consistently shows communication skills are the #1 quality employers want in graduates. Yet students rarely receive the education that they need in argumentation, speaking, and persuasion. This leads to a fear of speaking like we have an epidemic of right now, and difficulty presenting ideas, and less confidence in leadership roles. But speech and debate programs directly address this gap. Speech and debate education teaches students communication skills, critical thinking, confidence in presenting their ideas, and respectful disagreement. Students learn how to analyze complex issues, speak clearly and persuasively, listen carefully, and respond respectively. These are the same skills used in civic participation, leadership, law, business, and public service. Speech and debate does not just create competitors, it creates confident communicators and engaged citizens as well. This, members, is why I will be proposing to put on the agenda a resolution that will recognize National Speech and Debate Education Day. This resolution does 3 important things in regards to that. It recognizes the value of speech and debate education, acknowledges the dedication of teachers and coaches, and encourages greater awareness of communication education. National Speech and Debate Education Day, established by the National Speech and Debate Association, highlights the importance of these skills nationwide. By recognizing this day in Bettendorf, the district joins schools across the country, including the United States Senate, which also passed a similar resolution, emphasizing that communication education matters. So, to end off my remarks today, I will quote my speech and debate coach, Mr. Rankin. We use speaking as a medium, but we're not evaluating our students using that medium. That's a huge difference. Speech is simply the tool. What we were really teaching students is critical thinking, confidence, analysis, and the ability to engage with ideas. Therefore, members of the board, I encourage that you pass this resolution and put it on your agenda, as it recognizes that those skills matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well spoken, like a debate person should do. Thank you. Okay, moving on, items number 14 and 15. I understand we have no PEA report, no VESA report, so that takes us to Dr. Morris, Superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. It's been busy since our last board meeting. Last weekend, we had a wonderful turnout for our STEAM Expo on Saturday. Thank you to Marty Beck and our curriculum team for all of her efforts to coordinate another successful event. And thank you to our curriculum and instruction team for all their help at the event. We are very lucky to have a great group of community partners who spend time engaging our community and our students and students from other areas in very engaging and enriching activities. And we did not have snow this year, so that was great. On top of that, we were, thank you to our Bettendorf Community Schools Foundation for hosting another great visiting scholar program this year. Not sure if any of you got to meet Alex Turner, who was our visiting scholar, a Bettendorf alum who is now with Google DeepMind. He's a research scientist. He got to share his talents and the work that he is doing there with our high school students last Friday, as well as we worked to bring our ELP students from elementary and middle school over so that they could learn from Alex as well, which was something new, and thank you to our ELP team for making that happen. We have an incredible fine arts team. It's been busy for our band and choir teachers and directors. They, if anybody got out to the parade of bands and the choral extravaganza over the last 2 weeks, you got to see our students and our staff who are outstanding. So it was a lot of fun to see our kids perform. We also had our Booker Bear event that we do in partnership with some community partners. It's always hosted over at the library, and that's where we honor our first graders as we encourage them to build strong reading habits. We celebrated our school social workers and our maintenance and operations team this month as well. And then, I'm not sure if anybody got to see the middle school musical, Shrek Junior. It was outstanding. Thank you to the director, Kristen Koch, her team, and all of our students for an outstanding performance. Our IBPS team met last night, and we met a couple weeks ago as well, so we've met twice since last board meeting, and we continue moving forward, reviewing contract language, as well as digging into finances as we gear up to have conversations around compensation for the upcoming school year. And then I just today received notification that we met all of the minimum thresholds and even exceeded them for the 5 essential surveys. So if you remember, a while back, our partners, the Center for Model Schools, were here to provide an update and kind of talked about the upcoming survey that kicked off February 17th, and that there were certain thresholds we had to have from a response rate. Well, I got great news today. It closes tomorrow. So if you haven't completed it, parents, staff, students, we still want you to complete it because that input to us is extremely invaluable. But I'm excited to see that we met the threshold in every area, and so we have enough responses that we will get the data back. And we hope to have that sometime in April. And then most importantly, as we get ready to enter spring break at the close of tomorrow, I want to wish all of our staff, students, and families an extremely wonderful and restful and well-deserved break. So thank you for all that you do. I know many people are heading for warmer climates and warmer places for spring break, so I hope you have a great trip. And that's it for today.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. Thank you, Dr. Morse. That takes it to item number 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Director Castro.
Yes.
Director Engels.
Yes.
Director Hansen.
Yes.
Director Larkin.
Yes.
Director McNiver.
Yes.
Director Witter.
Yes.
Director Broody.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. That moves us down to item number 5, information action under the BMS math adoption.
I'd like to welcome up our Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction, our BMS team, Principal Alan Hartley, Assistant Principal Allison Holland, and their team that they brought tonight. We want to give the board an update and an overview of all the work that they've been engaged in since the fall. So thank you, Jamie.
Thank you for letting us come tonight. I'm not going to do much of the talking. We did a similar process to what we've done at both the elementary level and last year with Amplify ELA in looking at curriculums. It's a time commitment, so the people you're seeing behind committed to that time, and others, not just them, outside of, the school day, to sit down, to look at, listen to vendors, choose it from there, and then really dig deep. So I just want to honor the fact that a lot of this, because of the shortage of subs and all of that stuff, has to take place outside of that contract day. So they're going to walk you through the process where we ended up. So I don't know who's starting, but they're going to come.
Hello, I'm Allison Holland. I'm one of the associate principals at Bettendorf Middle School, and I had the opportunity to sit in the vendor presentations, which was the first step in looking at what curriculum we wanted to explore for a curriculum for next year. And in that vendor presentation committee was Chris Wagner, who is a 7th grade math teacher. Mitch Hines was the instructional coach. Landon Fry, also an instructional coach. Jocelyn Kite, who is an instructional coach for the elementaries. So it was nice to have her perspective coming from the elementary up to the middle school, just seeing that perspective. Marty Beck, our MTSS facilitator for math. Sarah Waldorf, a special education facilitator at the middle school and 2 elementaries. Alan Hartley, our principal. Myself. Rhonda Nelson, a curriculum coordinator, and Jamie Olson, the curriculum director. You can go to the next slide, please. These vendor presentations, we looked at 6 different ones, and they're up there on the screen. And 5 of them were in person. They came to us, so we got to feel and see and look through the tangible materials. And then one, for some circumstance they had, they did it via Zoom for us. So those are the 6 that we looked at, and then Ms. Chris Wagner, one of our 7th grade teachers, is going to talk further.
Nice. All right, so with the Math Adoption Committee, and it was led by our curriculum directors, and you see we had a pretty good show of members with our staff. We have most of the 6th through 8th math teachers. We also had special ed teachers and intervention teachers. And then we had a couple instruction coaches and then our admin team. So we had quite a good showing. We met usually on Monday, like 3:15 to 4 to 5-ish, yeah. So with it, we also, we started with an evaluation process, and it was an evaluation tool that checked for the conceptual understanding, application, and fluency for the students and the teachers. So we would examine what they're seeing, what we are seeing, what's provided for us, and so on. And we started with Eureka Math. That was our first one, and we used the tool for. And then it took about 1 meeting, and we went through, and we had already looked at it, the first initial group, so we kind of went through, that we had access to all the online, all the teacher stuff, and so then we ranked it based on that, and put teacher concerns and strengths and different things like that. And then the next time we met, we did iReady, and then Mrs. Bixby is gonna go over the results from that. But then we brought in a 3rd one, just to make sure that we had everything. And so we divided into 6th grade teachers, 7th grade, and 8th grade, and evaluated it that way.
You can go to the next one. Okay, so after evaluating the first 2 curriculums, we completed this activity where we had poster boards around the room, and we talked about each, well, individually. So like the first one we did was iReady, and so we went and did strengths that we felt that curriculum had, and stretches. And each group we focused on, the strengths were, how did the materials support and enhance the student learning. And we found what we thought all of them had was rigorous content. We felt like that was it'd be good for the students to kind of challenge them. And then we also looked at stretches, so like what potential barriers we would have, or any drawbacks. And some of them, just to give you some examples that we thought of for stretches. One of them was maybe the order that the curriculum went in. I know in 7th grade we use equations as kind of a problem-solving tool, and we noticed that in some of the curriculums the equations were towards the end of the year, and that is actually a very large standard for us, a priority standard for us. And so we liked iReady particular because it was towards the beginning of the curriculum. So order played a role too. But we had different strengths, different stretches, and then we talked to that. We shared out, discussed some of the commonalities, and then we took a vote. So the first voting resulted in, we all agreed unanimously that iReady was our first choice and Eureka Math was our second. But then we also asked that second question there was, do you want to see a 3rd curriculum? And as you can see, there were a few people that said yes, and so we thought, just to make sure that we wanted, that we thought iReady was the strongest, we thought, okay, let's look at another one. And so, you can go to the next one. And so then we did that same evaluation process for review. And so again, we went through the material, and then we again did that strengths and stretches, and shared out with our grade levels, asked those questions, looked for commonalities and stuff. And again, we took another vote, which is on the next slide. And we pretty much agreed again that iReady was our top choice, And so we felt it was pretty clear that essentially all of us agreed that iReady was the curriculum that we wanted to go with. So we look forward to learning more, or diving into that curriculum and what it has to offer.
I'm one of the instructional coaches that participated in this process. So obviously, we picked iReady as a team, which means we thought there were a lot of strengths. So we have a whole lot of highlights listed on this slide. I'm just going to talk about a few, just some highlights of the highlights, rather than go over all of them. But some things that were standouts to me, as well as the rest of the team. For this, the real-world connections I thought were extremely important. One of those classic questions from students is, how is this going to matter in my life? Why do I need to learn this? This curriculum anticipates that and tries to build in some real-world scenarios for them to apply math to and think about how they can apply their math skills towards with those scenarios. I think that is very helpful. We appreciated the letters. As you go through this curriculum, the units have letters for home that explain some of that math content that's being covered in the unit, as well as some of the processes so that parents can feel comfortable at the very least knowing what is currently being covered, and in some cases, maybe to help the parents assist their students at home if they are comfortable doing so. Another one that stands out to me is it really emphasizes, I personally, as a former language arts teacher, really appreciate that this focuses a lot on some high quality academic vocabulary. Some of that is very math domain specific, which is great. Some of it is more general academic vocabulary, which means it has the real, it's really efficient to be utilizing and covering because it can move over to language arts classroom, social studies, science. So it makes it a very useful use of our time by covering those in all classes.
Okay, finish. All right, the next one. So our next steps, we have access to partial right now, but we're going to get the full access soon, and to the online and the materials. Then we have an in-service day, April 2nd, and we're going to do a full day professional development. I think we're going to Zoom with one of the representatives from iReady. And we do, he was he from Ames or he's from Iowa? No, Ames adopted the curriculum, that's what it was. And so usually, he's in the area, so I'm not sure if that's who we're gonna, but he did a good job presenting. But, so next year will be our first year implementation, and we'll continue with professional development, like for example, Wednesdays, or if we need more things to access. So we asked to get it before the school year starts, so we have a good start on that for all 6 through 8 programs. So, any questions?
I just want to say thank you to you and Melissa for being here tonight, and Landon, you as well. You took time away from your families and just time away. You've been working all day, so, and thank you for your commitment to this process.
While you're thinking of questions, I also want to say thank you to this team, thank you to Jamie and the curriculum department. This is our second curriculum adoption in subsequent years for VMS, and I've been really appreciative of how we've approached this and how we've, from the curriculum side, how we've gotten our teacher input, how we have made sure that we're listening to their voices, we're taking the time to say, is this what we want? If not, let's take more time, let's think it through, and have appropriate and critical discussion when needed. So I've been really impressed with how we've taken this step and how we've been very intentional about it. So taking a step like this or committing to a curriculum like this can be nerve-wracking, but I feel like the process and the way that this was set up takes a lot of that away, and I feel like there's a lot more confidence in going into this next year. So I'm just very impressed and excited to continue that. Hopefully that was enough wait time to get to the question.
Does anyone have any questions? Oh, okay, I have just a couple, okay. How long of a process did this take to come to this point?
The first initial group, we met and we had to do it during the school day, because that's when the representatives are available. So that's why I was the only teacher, but Mitch Hines is an instructional coach, and he was the 8th grade teacher. because we would have to get subs for when I would come over here, so we could either meet with them, or we did Zoom with one. So, and I'd have to have a sub and then rush back to school. So we did that for 6 different things, yeah. Yeah. October, November, yeah. So that was 6 different presentations. And then we had the 8th grade math teacher, and including the whole other committee with instructional coaches and admin. And so then we developed we went through and discussed which one was our first choice, second, and ranked them. And different things like that, because there were some that were just not what we needed or what would be good for kids for real world application and engagement, and that's a big thing with math. We want it to be engaging where they're interested in different things. So, and then we met, so that was January, February, and that was our after school. That way all the teachers could attend those meetings. Yep.
Thank you. Is there direct instruction with this as well, or how much time are they on computer, and how much time is there direct instruction?
Well, what we really liked about these choices that we had were, there are workbooks that the kids will have. So, because personally I feel like we're on our Chromebooks too much, and so we have, those paper pencil things. And what we found this school year especially, we have kids have notebooks out and taking notes, but they're not always writing stuff down. But these workbooks will go with our instruction, and all of the curriculums also had slides that were provided for us, whereas, we've been creating our own slides for our stuff, so that was a plus as well. So we feel like it will guide, like they'll be guiding through, like in the workbook as we're, guiding them through the slides on the board.
And there is direct instruction.
But there's computer computer stuff too, so it's kind of a mix.
It gives them access to using the computer if they like, which is what they'll be doing for state testing. And it has stuff, if people are absent, they have access to the material.
And what's nice about the computer too is they'll do their work and then they can enter it in on there, and it gives them immediate feedback if it's right or wrong, which is what they need to know, like, did I get it, am I doing it right? So that, that is good as well to do, to get that immediate feedback to know if they're doing it right. But then we like the workbook because then, they're, able to get away from the Chromebook. And Eureka, I know we found it was like a workbook for every unit, and we felt like that was really overwhelming. Whereas iReady, it has 2 books. It's like the first part of the year, or the first part of the book, half of the year, and then the second half of the year is the second book. So.
And there's a note-taking section in the workbooks that follow along with the teacher slides.
Yeah.
So it's almost like guided notes for the students. It tells
and it
them
shows
like,
them how to do
yes.
it. Yeah.
Because sometimes if you just have a blank piece of paper, like the kids are trying to write everything down, where this kind of guides them as what's important, what should they be writing down, to help them with that note piece.
Is there a pacing guide with this?
Yes.
There is.
Yes. And assessments and different things too.
Are there off-ramps for some kids who are struggling because of the pacing guide?
There, with the program, and there's also like a fluency and skills supplement too that I figured would be great with our intervention. All those needs, and then also are there extensions to go above and beyond, and then like the remediation side. So yes.
And there's exit tickets for
yes.
So we can assess them at the end of a lesson how well they understood it.
Yeah,
Who we need to remediate and who we need to take further.
Okay, I asked this question when you were adopting the language arts curriculum as well. Why do you feel this is better than the current math program that you have right now?
The current math program, what we have, and it was all online, and it was kind of difficult with, I would say, the direct teaching and different things like that. And when we go to the homework, it was sometimes not line up with what some of the lessons were. It was very beyond challenging for some of the kids, and they were really frustrated. So we kind of been really pulling from mini curriculums, knowing what works for the students and different things like that. So it's been a lot of work on our end and then we use Canvas, our instructional management program, and we put videos and notes and different things like that. And so we are happy. I know 7th grade anyway, and 6th and 8th are excited too, but about having like a workbook to guide the thing, and also like even the family letters are in the workbook. Like the parents will get to see all of that with examples and so on. Otherwise, they have to go on Canvas, which they have access to, but they can go on Canvas and look on the videos and examples and so on. So this is just gonna provide more of a structure for,
In all one set
yes.
place, because in the past, like she said, I was always in charge of doing the slides, so we kind of pulled from every, like, the kind of the best of all worlds that we've done. We've done CPM, we've done, I mean, I remember back to Algebra for All, and I mean, so we've kind of, and we still do some of that stuff from Algebra for All, like the scavenger hunts and stuff that kids like to do. So we felt like this is nice because it's gonna be, you know, we haven't really done like one curriculum all the way through without having to pull from others, so.
And this seemed to cover all the student needs, wherever their levels are at and different things like that. Now, will we probably have to remediate and supplement and things like that, of course, because we've all talked that no program is perfect. So, and plus to keep, you know, the interest level there, we as teachers know that sometimes, okay, we might want to do something different just to get them engaged and, you know, add to the program also.
So this will make it more streamlined and a lot less hectic for you, so you don't have to be pulling from I think that's.
And we're thinking for the parents and
better for
families,
you.
I mean, that's huge, because then they'll have the workbook, because right now they have a notebook, you know, and, you know, the parents say, well, what's the example, or what, you know, and kids are like, you know, you guys sometimes hear it, they're like, middle school kids, I don't know, you know, or, where do we find that? I don't know. So that gives, and that's huge, because that's where we've had issues before, where the, you know, parents want to see examples, or like, what are you working on, so I can help you, and different things like that. So overall, for everyone.
Yeah, and I think the parents will like the workbook too, because they like seeing those examples will, you know, as they always like to say, I don't like this new math. I always laugh at that because I'm like, well, math really hasn't changed, but the way we present it does, so.
Oh, that'd be great. And one last question, how will this mesh into like the freshmen coming into ninth grade, with the ninth grade curriculum? Will this be a smooth transition for the eighth graders going into ninth grade then?
And Jimmy, you want to piggyback on what the high school uses?
So the high school at Algebra 1 and Geometry piloted this year, but we'll be going to Desmos. It's Amplify Desmos, Amplify bought out Desmos, they're buying out everybody. And so they're using Amplify Desmos. Algebra 1 is in their second full year, Christy's gone, I think it's their second full year, they piloted it. Also, the beta version where they were able to give feedback and say, this doesn't work, this doesn't make sense, to contribute to that. Geometry piloted it this year and has decided that they want to continue with that. Algebra 2, we're still working through what that's going to look like. There shouldn't be any issue with the transition in, because the standards, it's the platform that might change, but the standards will be righted.
Great, okay.
I just have a comment. That is the best math shirt Bixby.
We had a quiz today, so I was like, show your work.
Yeah,
There's
they
only
never
one
do.
kid there's only one kid that even recognized it. Thought it was appropriate, I wear it.
All right, Director Ingles.
I just wanted to say that I really appreciate the collaborative effort you guys put into this, all the extra time, the thought, and the care, and that speaks volumes about who you guys are as educators. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, thank you for all your hard work, you know, effort, trying to develop what's best for the kids, and that's just nice to hear. So thank you very much for all the hard work that you have done to have this the best choice for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you guys again for being here.
Okay, moving on. That brings us to the E-rate submission approval. Is there a motion? I think you just have to read that approval E-rate recommendation as presented.
Okay, so I make a motion to approve the E-rate submission as presented.
Is there a second?
A second.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I knew, Ben, you told me you were coming up. Okay, Ben, have at it.
I can just give you a quick overview of what E-rate is, in case you're not aware of that program. It is a program provided by the federal government to provide us funding for internet and internal connections, meaning access points and switches, UPSs, IDF cabinets, things like that. We get a 5-year budget, which is the first year of the 5-year budget of the new one. That's based on the enrollment. And then we receive funding based on free and reduced percentages. And so we receive 40% funding, which means we are responsible for 60% of the purchase. And we use SPI, so they just charge us the 40%. We use this to pay for internet connections. We have dual internet connections for our phone lines and for our staff and students, which provide us with a pretty stable connection. We also use it to just keep our network inventory updated and refreshed in terms of our access points, switching and things. This year, I submitted a proposal for 75 access points and 14 switches, to replacing switches in our IDFs and core switch, and just rotate out our access points, our older models. We have about 28 switches coming end of life January of 2028. And so we're doing that in stages. So we have 14 this year, 14 next year. After that, we won't have very many purchases because we'll be pretty well up to date until the next refresh cycle starts. But that's the basis of E-rate and what I use it for. There's a very strict evaluation process that we go through to make sure that we select with the highest, the most weighted categories cost, as always. But there's other categories as well. But the vendor that we are proposing to select was the most cost effective, was the cheapest. So, any questions about E-rate or the selection process or anything?
And then when you look at the pricing and the rebate difference, that is substantial. The work that you've done to be able to get us that type of rebate, that's originally, what was it? With no rebate, would have been what?
A little bit over 120,000.
And then down to about 75,000?
72,000. And I looked, the past 5 years, it's at least $150,000 that we've saved. And I'm very proud. I mean, props to Kevin Savers, our system administrator. We have very good system in terms of network. I don't want to use the word robust a lot, but it's a very good network, and he's done a lot of work. And the E-rate system has been a huge help in helping us keep our equipment up to date and
Great.
Yeah.
Anything else? Thank you. Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call, please.
Director Ingalls.
Yes.
Director Hansen.
Yes.
Director Larkin.
Yes.
Director McGivern.
Yes.
Director Witter.
Yes.
Director Broody.
Yes.
Director Castro.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you. That brings us down to the BCSD fiscal year 2025 audit. Dr. Morse?
Turn it over to Tyler.
All right.
Are you telling me you don't want to be this way?
You know what, I've done it, I think, 3 of my 5 years, so I'd be happy to do it, but you're here, and you know what? I know you were ready to do it.
Be happy to. Okay, so take this with you over spring break. This is your reading material. Have fun. All right, so just give you a little context about what's in here, what's going on. So, there you go. Okay, so just as a reminder, this is for FY25, right? So July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. So this is a little bit of a look back for us. And some background here. So Iowa Code mandates that all governmental organizations complete an external audit of their financial statements. It needs to be submitted to the state by March 31st every year, and then it also needs to be submitted to the federal government. 2 annual reviews take place. We have an external audit, right? So we have outside auditors come in and look at our financials, and then we also do the CAR. So that's kind of our internal audit, if you will. A lot of the information that is used for the external audit comes from the CAR, right? So we have an internal, and then we have an external review process. And then Bonsack and Fromell, they are the new auditors for this year. So this is their first year auditing with us as we switch firms. So we can move to the next slide, please. Just keep talking. Okay. The next slide, there we go. It's just the table of contents for you. And then just after that is a summary of the revenues that the auditors found. And then comparing last year's data and this year's data. slide after that compares expenses, and then the final slide compares long-term liabilities. Oh, I'm not. Who made the comment about, was that you, Director Castro, about too much computer usage?
Yes.
Yes, we're reaping the benefits of that.
He's goofier than ever, so thank you.
There we go. So just a little bit increase in net position over last year. And then Celeste, if you'll go to the next slide, and the next slide. Okay, so here's some key terms. I just don't want this information to kind of get lost in the weeds because this is the real technical wonky stuff. So first key term I want to define here is an unmodified opinion. We also call this a clean opinion. Basically just means that everything looked good, the documents can be trusted because the auditors didn't find any cause for concern. The next term is GASB, stands for Governmental Accounting Standards Board, and that's just an independent organization that establishes how we have to conduct our financial statements and then our audits to comply with U.S. state and local regulations. And then there's three types of findings. There's a control deficiency, a significant deficiency, and then a material weakness. So control deficiency means that you have something that maybe isn't working quite properly, could be better. It's just identified as a low risk. A significant deficiency means that we should address it and it could be some sort of moderate risk. And then material weakness means that something is failing us and that we have a high risk there. So we go to the next slide. So these are the findings. You'll find them on pages 78 through 81 of the audit book itself. There's 3 audits that they conducted. So the first, the financial statement audit, that was an unmodified opinion or a clean opinion. They presented a little bit of information about GASB 101, which basically changes the way that we record compensated absences as a liability. So when people take vacation or when people have sick leave, it's just a kind of an unrealized usage. The next audit they do is a government auditing standards audit, and then they noted some findings there as well. Only 1 instance of non-compliance and then 3 significant deficiencies. And then lastly is the federal single audit for child nutrition. Because of the dollar amount that our district has for nutrition services, it's a federal standard that they audit that every year. So unless our nutrition program really tanks, they'll continue to audit that as its own separate finding every year. If you want me to go through these findings, I certainly can. Otherwise, if you want to read them and follow the questions later, we can do that too. I'll just leave it up to you guys.
Any discussion? Any questions?
The only comment, I know Ben, turning it on. The only comment I'll make is when you bring a new auditor in, really where
those pieces around the deficiency came is in kind of division of duties and labor, which in previous audits with our previous firm did not come up. And so as Tyler's been working with his team, it was already things he had identified we're going to start working through, and they've already started putting processes in place. But each time you shift and have someone new looking at it, they come with their experience, their background, their lens. So overall, it was an outstanding audit, and I want to thank Tyler and his team. Tyler obviously came midstream while this had already started in the summer. I helped the financial team get on their way with it, and then he picked it up and hit the ground running with it when he started, and has done an outstanding job with it.
Tyler, on the schedule of findings towards the back, a lot of them were first-time things, and so we're working our way through those. What Dr. Moore said is well correct. Yeah, that's just great.
Yep, so it means they weren't identified before, so we're not repeat offenders.
Okay. Anything else? Roll call, please.
Oh, we haven't had a motion yet.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do we have a motion to approve the 2025 Bettendorf School District audit?
I will make a motion to approve the FY25 audit as presented. Second.
Second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Director Hansen.
Yes.
Director Larkin.
Yes.
Director McGivern.
Yes.
Director Witter.
Yes.
Director Broody.
Yes.
Director Castro.
Yes.
Director Ingles.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thanks, Tyler. Okay, that brings us down to number 4, Board Policy 902.01, News Media Review and Discussion. This is the first reading on this. Dr. Morse, did you want to comment on that at all, or should we take a look at the policy?
I believe this was driven by a board director, Director Larkin, and then I believe in board agenda review, Director Castro and Director McGivern, you asked for some updates to be made. So I think we'll turn it over to you guys.
Okay, the reason I suggested this possible change is because there'll be some times when I'm not be able to be here. I'll be out of the at least once or twice, maybe out of the country for several meetings. So I thought in case anything that might require a statement to the newspaper, I think it would be wise if perhaps that the vice president also had that same capability to make a statement. So that was the genesis for this change here. A few slight changes there, so that's kind of how that got up there.
This isn't exactly what I asked for. I asked for a discussion in general terms on the policy. So I see what we're doing here is we broke the rules, and now we want to change the rules so more people can talk to the media. But why not make it everybody talk to the media? I'm cited as by name in a media article. I don't get to explain my vote, but this says 2 people get to explain their vote. So I think it needs to be amended. All board members can talk to the media. At the state level, all legislators get to talk to the media. Why can't everyone talk to, especially if there's a dissenting votes? Maybe there's a different opinion that the media may be interested in why we did that. So I think we need to amend the policy to either say all board members can vote, or in absence of the president, the vice president can talk. I don't like both people making it. It's either all or one.
I'll make a comment on that too, and that's fine as far as, understand the change or the recommended change being the board president or absence of the board president, the vice president, because that would cover down for the president in the event that, to your point, President Castro, if you're gone and we need a representation for whatever reason, so that gives us coverage in those situations. As far as I'll address the comment because it's about me. As far as breaking the rules, I do want to acknowledge the comment that was referenced in the QC time. I want to say publicly to you that my intent was not to provide, not to speak on behalf of the board as a whole, but to provide context around the actions that were taken. I recognize the importance of ensuring that our communication reflect the board appropriately and our policies guide how we approach these situations. So moving forward, I'll be very mindful of that responsibility and remain committed to the best interests of our district. So I wanted to put that out there and respond and comment to that. As far as discussions, I know this is the first read, and I'll put that out there for discussion of the board. I think that if we have the board president as the representative and in absence of then it would be the vice president. I think that covers down too, and works fine as well.
I think that answers Director Larkin's concern. Director Larkin, are you happy with that wording? Or does that satisfy what
I
you
can be
were saying?
satisfied with that, but I just would prefer, if I'm gonna be cited in the media about my vote, I don't get a chance to talk about it. So why can't someone that has a dissent or different opinion talk about something? And certainly at the upper levels of government, that's possible. But we just have to say, the board president gets to talk and the minority just gets to sit it out and not say anything.
Well, I would offer in response to that is there is that element in regards to once the board makes a vote, whether that's a 7-0 vote, whether it's a 4-3 vote, once the board has made a decision on some action, that's the decision of the board.
I agree 100% that the minority supports the majority, but their minority may have opinions that are of interest to readers in the community.
Again, I think that in absence of covers down.
I can think of some meetings in the past that I've had opinions on certain votes and things, quite strong opinions, but I did not talk to the press. I sat on my hands and kept my mouth shut. So I think the status of, in the absence of the president, the vice president becomes a spokesperson. I think that satisfies the requirement. Does anybody else have any discussion on this? Because this is a first time read.
Well, I feel like, don't they have access to the tape of the meeting? And so if they want to put something in the news about what somebody said, or, if we were in dissension or something, they have access to that. So.
Yeah, for the event where there's discussion.
Right, when we discuss things, yeah.
Well, just like in this case, they'll have your opinion, they'll have your opinion. I don't think we have to air dirty laundry all over the newspaper.
I agree with that.
I just feel that we all have our time to talk if there is dissent or in favor of, and anyone that wants to watch the meeting and figure out what the reasons were. I think a singular voice is the best policy as far as dealing with the media.
Anything else? Okay, Dr. Morse, did we get that duly noted? All right, thank you. Okay, this first reading, we'll bring that back for a final reading at the next meeting, correct? Okay, thank you. Okay, that brings us down to number 6, board shared communication and board reflections. Who would like to start that off?
I'll volunteer.
All right,
Sure.
Director McGivern.
Yep, I just want to say, hopefully, to all the staff, to all the students, to the families, for spring break coming up here next week. Hopefully that's a good time of some recovery and rest and resetting. Hopefully some better weather's upon us. I know in the Midwest, the winter likes to continually remind us it's not done with us. So hopefully we're close to turning the corner on that. And yeah, just I know there was a lot of paying attention to sports, a lot of sports running up, the winter sports and things. So I just wanted to again say a big shout out to the Bettendorf High School wrestling team being its coach nights this year, and just seeing them come through and seeing the way we finished, and then also to just all of the youth wrestling, both girls and boys, and the girls wrestling in high school. For a former Bulldog wrestler, it's very exciting to see that. So just again, it was fun to watch the season come to an end. That's me.
Anyone else? Yeah, Director Rudy.
Kind of to piggyback on that, going into spring break, just wanted to say, appreciate everything, the teachers, the paras, the principals, the secretaries, the custodians that they do in this district. My first 10 years out of college, I was a high school English teacher, then went back, got my master's and became a counselor, but I told myself as a counselor, if I ever forget what it's like to be in the classroom, then I'm not worth anything as a counselor. And so I feel like they are the unsung heroes every single day doing this work for our kids. Great comment. Anyone else?
Okay, I'd just like to kind of piggyback on, oh, I'm sorry,
There's no one else going.
Director Larkin.
Okay, so based on what I heard, dissenting opinion, this is the time to do that. So back in continuing the discussion about the media, at the top of the meeting, it was said, we don't discuss personnel. It was said, we do what's in the best interest of the district, but yet we're talking to the media about personnel. Why would we do that? When you talk to the media about personnel, that risks hurting people. That risks livelihood. That gives this body civil liability. Why would we ever talk to the media about personnel? All that had to be said was, it's a personnel issue, we can't talk about it. And then make them FOIA it. If they want to learn about what happened, put the back on them. And then the time has passed, and we don't even have any issues in the media. I just can't believe that happened. And I think in the next meeting, we need a bullet item on legislative affairs. There's been a lot going on in Des Moines, and we need to see where we're at risk on potentially the bonding situation and any funding issues we're going to have in the future. So, and I also think we need a closed session to talk about any potential risk we have. And that's my board communication.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'd just like to also kind of piggyback on what Director Brody and Director McGivern said. We honored so many great kids here tonight, so many great teachers and coaches, and et cetera. We have a lot of great things going on in our district, a lot of great students, and that's one of the hardest jobs that I think anybody in the district could have. Being in front of those kids every day, being sharp, being on task, reaching everyone. So I hope they can relax a little bit, take some time off, and just enjoy being away during this time. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell everybody, just be safe, enjoy your time off, all the educators out there, here to support, teachers, administrators, custodians, just like Michelle said, just enjoy the time off with family, with friends, come back well rested, hopefully not sick, because we don't want to be in school, but unfortunately I've not been able to get into the schools, had some illness in the family, so I've taken some time off work and attended to that. So hopefully in the future after spring break we can get back to that.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I guess I'd just like to encourage people to fill out that survey. The more participants, the better. And I want to encourage people to keep reaching out. We're here to serve you. Our emails are public, and I like getting them. So I like to hear what you guys are thinking. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll just reiterate what everybody else said. I hope everybody has a safe, restful, healthy spring break, and lots of great energy from all the kids today in the room. It was very inspiring.
Thank you. Before we get to the exempt session, I'd like to thank Monica for your help in being our fill-in board secretary. You've done a great job, just handled it extremely well. I'd like to welcome also our new board secretary, Stephanie Alto, who will be taking over as our board secretary. So welcome aboard. I'm sure your learning curve will be pretty high, but thank you for taking this job, and we appreciate your service to the district as well.
Thank you.
Oh. Okay, upcoming calendar events you can see in there. May 23rd graduation. You can see that right there, ladies and gentlemen, coming up before we know it. So anyway, moving on. Do we have a motion to move into exempt session?
I will make the motion to enter into exempt session as provided in the Code of Iowa, Section 20.173 and 20.9 for the purpose of discussing strategies for negotiations.
Seconded.
Do you have a second? We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Director Larkin.
Yes.
Director McGivern.
Yes.
Director Witter.
Yes.
Director Brody.
Yes.
Director Castro.
Yes.
Director Ingles.
Yes.
Director Hansen.
Yes.
Motion carries.